Hello, guys, and welcome to episode 7 of 304 EVs. I'm your host, Curtis. I'm joined here by my co host, Zane.
Hey, what's going on? It's Zane.
And welcome back. It's been, I think by the time this will go live, it's probably about a month or a little over a month.
It's been way too long. We've had good intentions, just not the greatest results. We had some vacation, or Curtis had some vacation, and I just didn't record anything without Curtis, obviously. And now we're back. We're going to try to stay on schedule going forward, kind of get everything a little more organized so we don't take a hiatus randomly.
And some big news, well, for some of our listeners, we are now on the Apple Podcast app.
Oh, yeah, big news, big news.
So we're kind of at the bottom if you just search like EV, so you're going to have to just search the name exactly and it'll come right up. So 304 space EVS, and it'll come right up.
Yep, it's our same logo as YouTube. It looks a little goofy right now if you look at it pretty soon, because I used the same logo as YouTube, and it distorted when it stretched it for the podcast format. So I'll be making a new one here pretty soon, so it should look better later on. So depending on when you watch this, it may look good, it may look kind of egg-shaped, but we're working on it. We'll get that taken care of.
And another thing we were kind of thinking about, or I was kind of thinking about, was we might record some episodes kind of to fill in on some weeks where we're both really busy that aren't about the news, that are more, I don't want to say timeless because it's kind of about technology in a way, but about maybe we're going to do one on like safety feature, not safety features, but like safety ratings. So like maybe like half-hour episode. Yeah. So we might fill some of those in and skip the news some weeks because we're finding that it's kind of hard to record on a weekly basis at the same exact time and get it published and done. But it should be getting easier. So I got a new job where I get out at, I think, 4:30 every day. You'll eventually get out at probably 5 o'clock every day. So right now we're getting out of work at like 7 o'clock. And not starting until like 8:30 or 9.
Yeah, so then after dinner and a little chit chat, it's like 9 or 10 o'clock.
So I think getting out of work earlier should motivate us. Should make it a lot easier to do this.
Oh, absolutely. Podcast. Yeah, I'm pretty excited. Yeah, lots changing around here. But anyways, let's roll right into it, I guess. So yeah, big news. We're on the podcast app. So if you're listening from the podcast app, hello, welcome. Thanks for subscribing. Give us a good rating on the podcast app. That might push us up in the list a little bit, you know?
Yeah, the ratings are apparently a good way to move up the list. So the closer we are to the top of any search, obviously the more viewers that we're going to get. And we just want to get the word out about EVs to as many people as possible. So
that helps everybody. It's not just us. More viewers, more attention, more opportunities we get, more things we get to talk about, more opportunities we get to share together. Which, by the way, got one in the works. Not going to say any details as of yet, but within the next month, I would say, we should have a little bit of a different type of content to kind of go over, a little more hands-on, if you will. But enough about that. We'll get there when we get there.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to say too much, just in case, for whatever reason, it doesn't happen. I don't want to get anybody's hopes too far.
We tease them a little bit. We want to maybe do some. You're talking about video content on YouTube, right?
Kind of, but also our like personal experience more so.
Yeah.
Getting hands on with vehicles.
Yeah. Which could also lead to. Which could also lead to. People might find that really interesting in video format. Opinions about it.
Yeah, definitely.
We can even record footage and just do voiceover, or just record footage, show it, and then maybe have a minute of video, but just talk about it.
Yeah, I'd like to film some
10-minute.
Absolutely, thing. Especially to give it's hard to explain, visuals. So we'll definitely do that. But a couple things to talk about. We'll touch on something that we did this past week on Wednesday. So depending on, it's too late. It's already past Earth Day. But Earth Day was on the 22nd. We're in April right now. 22nd was Earth Day. Marshall University in Huntington did an Earth Day all week event type of thing. They had stuff every day. On Wednesday, the West Virginia Electric Auto Association hosted like a car showcase,
Well,
basically.
they call it D, Drive Electric Earth Day.
There we go. Drive Electric Earth Day. So yeah, we went down to Marshall's campus. We're recent graduates, so very familiar with the campus. I actually saw them there, I think back in 2019 before COVID, and got to sit in a couple of Teslas, and I thought it was really cool. But this past year, the 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 spread of vehicles was a little more not I was gonna say broad, but not really. It was mostly Teslas.
No, I think it was only Teslas, a Porsche Taycan, and a Bolt.
There was more
Okay.
cars than there was in 2019. I think there was like 2 to 3. Then this time there was
10?
probably 7 or 8, maybe.
Oh yeah, probably closer to that.
We had a couple special, 1 to 2 special cars, I guess, that stood out more than the rest. There was a Porsche Taycan there. That was really nice. It kind of stood out from the rest, all the Teslas. Then girlfriend's dad, Terry, he brought his Model Y, which was nice, brand new.
Model Y Performance. I'm sure you'd want us to mention that.
Model Y Performance. So it was a really nice showcase for the passerbys because you get to see something that was brand new in the Tesla lineup and kind of compare to some of the other Teslas that were there, because there was on the other end of the lineup there was a Model S from probably 2013 or 2015, something around there, the older body style, so you can kind of see where they were and where they came to be. Especially for a lot of people we talked to that had ordered Teslas and were waiting on them, waiting for delivery.
Yeah, I think I talked to 2 people that had ordered one.
Yeah, I talked to at least a couple.
We met. I didn't talk to a lot of people off the street or like people that weren't EV owners already. We had, I guess, we had okay foot traffic. I guess a lot of people just didn't really stop or didn't.
For some reason, I would be kind of attracted to a big row of cars on the lawn.
Well, I think what made it probably less exciting is probably the fact that it was mostly just Teslas.
Yeah, I guess some people were kind of numb to Teslas.
Yeah.
There was a Chevy Bolt, which a lot of people don't recognize very often. Don't really know much about them. Yeah. Then the rest of the lineup, we had 2 Model 3s and a gray one and a red one. And then we had a newer Model S. It was a 2017. Still kind of last generation compared to what we have now, but it was definitely a refresh on the exterior from the one on the other end of the spectrum there. And that was one of our listeners, Marianne. Shout out to Marianne. We like having our listeners. It's so cool. But yeah, her car was really nice. I liked it. Like the red. There was several red actually. And Terry's Tesla was red, and then the other Model 3 was red, and that Model S was red.
Yeah. And I think red's always been extra. It's never been like a free color. Something I really liked about the Model S is the way the trunk opens up. It's like what do they call it, like a fastback?
Yeah, where the rear glass comes up with it, right?
You got a wide opening, which is so nice because the Model 3 is not like that at all.
No, it's a standard little trunk.
Yeah, small opening, not a very tall opening. So the Model S has that. That's a big advantage. I mean, obviously the trunk would be bigger anyways, but you can still have bad openings with large trunks, and it had a really nice opening.
Right. Yeah, it was cool. But it was a really fun time. I got a little bit sunburnt, but other than that, I didn't expect the sun to be beaten down. I forgot I just came out of winter and I wasn't outside a whole lot. But we talked to a lot of folks from the West Virginia Electric Auto Association, and then there was some electric chargers or vehicle chargers, some fast chargers, and some other examples from Siemens. Is that right?
Well, no, it was from they were Siemens chargers, which Siemens makes. I believe they make breaker boxes. I know they definitely make the breaker switches.
Mm-hmm.
But they were by what was it? It was through Synergy, which is a company based out of Milton. But
yeah,
I think they call it DC America. I believe that may be wrong.
I think that might be.
I think it was DC America. So they basically are creating like these fast charging installations. So they'll go ahead and put it all together in like a row for you, and then it makes it a lot easier to install.
Right. So it's kind of, would you call that modular? Is that right?
Yeah, something like that. Tesla actually, I think, also employs that now too. Like they'll put them on like a flatbed, like a whole row, and just bring them, drop them, and wire them up.
Yeah,
like they're not having to put them in concrete or dig a trench and all kinds of stuff. So it makes install really fast.
So you just place them and power them up. But yeah, they were only 50 kilowatt hour or 50 kilowatt chargers.
Yeah, they were. So something they talked a lot about, well, actually, they mentioned it before I even mentioned it, was that infrastructure money that our listeners, I know we've talked about this before. So as part of the infrastructure money that West Virginia gets and all the other states get, you have to have a minimum of 150 kilowatt chargers. You actually have to have 4 of them per station, 4 plugs, 1 mile off the interstate or highway, every 50 miles. So the setup they showed us would not comply with the amount of plugs or the speed, but they said they could do higher. I mean, they can do whatever. I think they can do 350s.
Gotcha.
But the 50 kilowatts are like $50,000 a piece.
Crazy.
So that little setup they brought was like $130K. So
crazy. Yeah, I didn't get to talk to them very much. I was kind of talking to some other folks and looking at the cars more. But they look pretty nice. It was a nice looking display. I liked that they had that there because, like I said before, it was just a couple cars. But yeah, it was a fun time. We got to be around a lot of people that shared the same passions. Everybody liked their cars, were proud of their cars. I liked looking on. Because I don't have a car like that, but one day I will have an EV.
People keep asking Zane, why are you doing this? Why are you in the podcast? Why do you care? You don't have an electric vehicle. I think you get asked that a lot. I've heard several people ask you that.
Yeah, because you're like, oh, I actually have a Bolt, and I've ordered a Tesla, and I'm like, yeah, I'm still rocking the old style. ICE. I learned the new word this past week.
Oh,
ICE.
Yeah. Internal combustion engine.
Yeah, I had no idea. You guys were talking about ICE, and I was like, oh, yeah. With the portum. And then come to find out, yeah, it's internal combustion engine.
And then, was that one heckler that was there? He really wasn't that bad. He was just walking through.
Yeah, some guy walked through, voiced his opinion a little bit. And he was like, this is the biggest waste of electricity I've ever seen, looking at the fast chargers. And then he kind of glanced back at me, like, he's making sure it's set in. I was like, all right, like if you want to talk about it, like we could talk about it and I could explain. But he was very close minded and had to put his little 2 cents out there. But we didn't have anybody very anti. Everybody was interested in the cars for the most part. I mean, because a lot of people like cars anyway.
There were some campus police officers that stopped and looked at Terry's Model Y. They'll eventually get something. I mean, they were an ideal candidate for that. They don't drive that many miles in a day. They're mostly sitting in the vehicle or, I don't know, going city speeds around Marshall's.
Just zooming around campus.
Which is pretty large, but like how many blocks? Like 4, 6?
Yeah, not very many.
Not very much. So, yeah, it was overall really good time. So, should have that event next year. I mean,
yeah, I don't see why not.
So we'll
definitely it'll be bigger, I think.
Yeah, there'll be more Teslas.
Yeah, you bring your Tesla.
Something I think we should talk about in one episode, I just thought about this, would be definitely how efficient things are. Because some people there talked about how gasoline engines aren't efficient. Like they're only like 20% efficient. And I didn't know a whole lot of what they're talking about. So I think we should do some research and talk about maybe efficiency in general on EVs and what makes cars efficient, but also like why are internal combustion engines, why can they only get 20 miles for a whole gallon of gas and how that works. And
yeah, because there was a lot of conversation about
efficiency. A lot.
With people that were like, well, they're still powered by a coal at the end of the day. Like, you get some hecklers. And they were like, that's true, but the coal plants work a lot more efficiently. Like, they use the coal efficiently and make a lot of electricity.
Yeah.
And then the car just consumes it and then uses it. Like a Tesla, for instance, uses it very efficiently. So it was just efficiency all across the board. But yeah, there were a lot of comments about gas engines not being very efficient and how horribly efficient they were. So if any of you were watching and know anything about that, feel free to leave a little comment. We'll take a look at it and add it to our research when we come together and figure out a little more about that, because we like learning too. Absolutely. And then we like sharing our knowledge with everybody else. But yeah, so that was pretty fun. It was a good event.
And then something else we learned about just the other day was the electric vehicle company called, wait a minute, is it the company or the vehicle name? Aptera. I think that is actually the vehicle name.
Oh, is it really?
Let me look here. Now I'm guessing myself. But anyways, this company makes this electric. Well, it's actually not considered a car. It is considered a auto cycle. So it's not a motorcycle. It's not a car. It is an auto cycle. And it is called the.
I think it's just Aptera.
Well, the company is called Aptera Motors, and they make a vehicle called Aptera, I guess.
Yeah.
But anyways, it's kind of small. It's kind of quirky. The wheels are covered up, kind of like the old Honda Insights from early 2000s. But what's really impressive about this vehicle is you can get a battery pack that supports up to 1,000 miles of range, and you can get solar panels on it that support up to 40 miles a day of charging.
Crazy.
So really, theoretically, with this car, you could live completely off. You could live off the grid with it. You don't have to use a plug. You shouldn't.
Yeah.
Because you're not driving like. If you had the 1,000-mile version and you were in like sunny California, you could even drive a couple hundred miles as long as you're not going to do that every single day and never run out of charge.
Right. Yeah, they were boasting about how little you actually have to charge it because it charges itself. It does everything solar.
Yeah. Now it's really small. It's actually 3 wheels.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. It's a 3-wheeler.
Forgot
There's
to
2 up
mention
front and 1 in the back. And if anybody knows what a Polaris slingshot is, it's a little. It's almost like a motorcycle type deal. It sits really low. You see them a lot near the beach. They rent them for some reason. It's like a Polaris slingshot. It's got 1 wheel in the back, 2 up front. It's almost kind of like.
But there's a roof,
motorcycle,
and you don't have to wear a helmet because there is a roof.
Yeah, so it's still enclosed. There's a I don't know, what's I'm gonna say cockpit, but there's like an interior, I guess. It has doors, but definitely won't fit the whole family.
It's a 2-seater. It's a
yeah.
2-seater, 2 doors. But it is larger on the inside than you would think. Like there are a lot of YouTube videos. I actually recommend. I watched the Jay Leno's Garage video about this car. It's really interesting to watch. Once again, that's the Aptera.
Aptera.
Yep,
Aptera.
So definitely check that out. And then one last thing about it: the starting price is $26,000, and that's for 250 miles of range and I believe 20 miles a day of solar. So.
And up from there, I think it reaches what 40 or 45.
It reaches as high as I think 48, and then you can get like premium audio. I think the most expensive configuration is $55,000, but really not bad because if you look at the Harley Davidson electric motorcycles, that's a motorcycle. They're like mid 20s.
Yeah,
I mean this thing's safer than a motorcycle. It goes further than a motorcycle. You can haul groceries and another person.
yeah, it does have a bit of a trunk. It's got a little trunk.
Oh, yeah, it has a. They did a full. They had a video on YouTube because they have a YouTube channel where they went to Costco and got a full buggy full of groceries. And
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah, so it's
It
pretty.
doesn't
cool.
look like you'd be able to fit much in it.
Yeah, it's kind of. It's bigger than it looks for sure. So all right, and then I think we have another really cool thing. Speaking of efficiency and long range, Mercedes took their EQXX concept car on a. Just call it a range test in Europe, and they were able to achieve over 620 miles of driving.
An 11 hours long road trip on a single charge. And that's what the future is going to hold. That's where it's going to go. All these cars, the ranges now are a lot better than they used to be, but they're still not there. 300, 250, all this stuff's not very impressive, but this, and then you see companies like Lucid, they're showing the next steps. So yeah, this car, the EQXX, beautiful car by the way. For those of you that don't know, take a little look at it. The EQXX by Mercedes. It's got a really nice tail end.
It's not coming to market though, so don't like it too much because you're not gonna be able to buy it.
Yeah,
Or
that's
so
the
they say.
unfortunate
Or
part.
not this exact version.
They're not making it big time, but it's just kind of showing where they're thinking. Because all the other EVs coming out from Mercedes are very aerodynamic, and this is
Even more.
really good
This
example of that.
This
yeah.
is basically they took all their best technology and all their best sustainability practices and put it in this car. Like the seats aren't leather; they're like they have a couple different options. I think one they make out of like cactus.
Interesting.
And then it's super efficient. Like it's designed for maximum efficiency, maximum sustainability. So this is like basically Mercedes concept. I would say in a lot of ways of the future.
It's a road trip car.
Yeah, and it's not like super fast either. It does 0 to 60 in like 7.1 seconds,
It's
which is about average.
It's average.
Yeah, definitely something cool to check out.
Yeah, for those of you that like to drive straight through on a road trip and take as little stops as possible, it's a good option. It's a good hope for you. that something like this already exists, and it's only going to get more available as more companies reach that pinnacle of technology and efficiency.
The average range, I would say, we actually have a Department of Energy handbook a book that they gave you could give out to people from 2015, and in that it says the average range of an EV was 100 miles. So now I would say the average range is probably, I would say, 250 or 230.
That's a 150% increase.
So I would say in the next 5 years, the average range would be 400 plus. Well, a lot of the General Motors vehicles are all going to be 400. Or all for 400. The Silverado EVs can do 400. It's a truck. It's a big truck.
Yep, that's about what my gas tank gets in my Mazda 6.
So it's coming.
Roughly.
Long range EVs are definitely coming. Well, they're already here, but some of them are really expensive, but they'll be more affordable.
Oh yeah.
And speaking of upcoming, I guess, electric vehicles, General Motors actually delivered one of their first delivery vehicles through the company Brightdrop.
It's a FedEx truck. It's GM's electric van, and it set a world record, believe it or not. And the journalist on The Verge says, "With me riding shotgun." It was able to go 258.85 miles. I guess, was that one charge?
Yep.
Is that right?
Yeah, one charge. I think they did a mix of city and highway driving. This is like well, there's so many different size FedEx and UPS vehicles, but this is a really good size vehicle. It's made by Brightdrop, which is a company that General Motors created. So it's like I guess a subsidiary of General Motors.
That's so cool. At the beginning of the article, he says when they were driving it, they passed a white Rivian R1T. And he's like, it was like seeing a ghost because they've only delivered about 2,500 of them. It's crazy.
Yeah, we saw a truckload of them though going up to Columbus.
We saw a pack of ghosts. We saw them in Point Pleasant.
Yeah,
truck full. That was so cool. There was probably 7 or 8 of them. That's a pretty big percent too. They've only delivered 2,500. We saw about 8 of them. I think 7 or 8. We've seen 0.3%. That's not that much.
Yeah. I was trying to give you guys some specs here. They don't give great specs in this
It's kind of cute. It's I don't know. It's got a flat nose, kind of, but it looks pretty efficient. Like, I like it. Nothing too crazy. Definitely doesn't have the same styling as the Mercedes EQXX, but it does the job.
Oh, this vehicle is called I guess it's pronounced Zevo or Zevo 600. It's the larger of Brightdrop's 2 electric vehicle vans with 600 cubic feet of cargo space, 250 miles of range, and a gross vehicle weight of less than 10,000 pounds. So they say in this article, this author says it's a normal size delivery van. And this is also powered by General Motors Ultium technology, which is in the Hummer EV and soon to be Cadillac, and that gives you, those batteries generally produce more power and give you longer range.
It's speed governed to 65 miles per hour. Did you see that part?
Yep. A lot of vehicles are that are.
Yeah, I guess cars. A lot of commercial.
A lot of semi trucks are also speed governed too.
That's unfortunate though. When you go 65, you're still gonna be slow on the interstate. You're maxed out. I was thinking of 70. That'd be nice. But yeah, he said it's quiet, except the cargo area rattles every bump that they hit.
It's because it's empty. I mean, it's a delivery vehicle. They're not supposed to be very luxurious or nice.
Yeah, I guess if it's weighted down with a bunch of cardboard, it'll kind of cushion that out a little bit. But it's less than 10,000 pounds. It weighs less than a Hummer EV.
Yeah.
That is pretty crazy. And it has 600 cubic feet of cargo space.
So yeah, we'll start seeing these here in a few years, and we'll start eventually seeing electric USPS vehicles as well. And then I'm sure UPS is buying some electric vehicles from some company.
And Amazon was looking to get them from Rivian. That was their investment in Rivian to make little.
But in our area, we don't see Amazon delivery vehicles, do we?
No, I don't think.
I don't think they do that in our area. It's all just USPS, UPS.
Mm-hmm.
But you never know.
I see them. Where did I see them? I think they have them in Columbus area.
Oh, I'm sure every urban area they have. Amazon has their own vehicles.
And in Florida and all kinds of other places I've been, they're more urban. But yeah, on the topic of GM, GM going forward, has struck a deal with Honda, which is kind of unusual when you think about it. You got the American company teaming up with the Japanese company that's known for reliability, besides Toyota, and they're gonna start trying to co-develop some affordable EVs, and they're gonna try to hit the most popular segments, which I guess that'll be SUVs in the Americas, or at least
because General Motors
US.
doesn't make any. Well, they make the Malibu still, but they said it's going to die within the next generation or two. And then the Camaro, if you want to call that a sedan.
Yeah, I think the Camaro's dying pretty soon, I thought.
Yeah, so General Motors is definitely out of the car game, like Ford. So, but Honda very much is in the car game still.
The Accord, the Clarity,
Well, the Clarity's gone now, and the Insight's gone. Civic.
Civic.
Yeah, the Civic
I
still
was
is like one of the
thinking of-
top selling cars in some states.
That's right. The Insight and the Clarity aren't made anymore. I just always think they are. They were pretty recent, though.
So from this article, a couple interesting points. Let's see. So
They want to make millions.
yeah, millions of them starting in 2027, including compact crossover vehicles. This article says they're also going to work towards standardizing equipment. Well, Honda's good at making stuff standard. General Motors not so much. So maybe they'll follow
They're
Honda
going to achieve
on that.
world-class quality, greater affordability. That's kind of an oxymoron. Like a General Motors talking about quality and affordability.
But there is, I think you probably will actually see affordability if they're going to mass produce 10 million cars combined or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
And then also, I didn't know this, the compact crossover segment is largest in the world with annual volumes of more than 13 million vehicles.
Wow.
So,
But yeah, so basically, it looks like the majority of this is to help each other with battery tech. They're going to try to create these on a new battery technology using Ultium.
yep,
It's
that was,
Ultium
I
battery.
mentioned that earlier when that's in the Brightdrop delivery vehicle. It's in the
Yeah.
Hummer EV. Yep.
That's right. You did say that. Yeah, the Ultium battery, which is cool. I'm glad they're expanding. Because batteries, man, batteries started all kinds of different things. Now they're changing ever more, always changing.
Yep, battery
They can make
technology
those things keep on going.
still in its infancy. I mean, we've only had decent electric car batteries for 10 years,
Yep.
10 to 12 years. So,
Look where we made it.
yeah. All right, and then moving on here, we've got an article. This is by Electric that I don't know if we discussed this previously, but it actually happened. New York State commits to 100% electric school buses by 2035. Well, on April 8th, governor of New York actually agreed to the bill, so it's definitely happening.
It is happening. Governor Kathy, is that Hochul?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, she agreed. It was a $220 billion budget.
That's for
that
the whole
included,
state.
yeah. Not just for the buses. Let me finish. For the whole state, yeah. It includes a plan to make their 50,000 school buses 100% electric by 2035.
And that'll be so nice because school buses are so loud on the road, especially in like cities where you're going to be walking on the sidewalk and they're roaring along with their diesel engines.
Yeah, and they have exhaust pipes about face level to elementary kids. I remember walking to the bus coming out of school, and it just blasted me in the face because they had them like in two different rows. I'd have to walk around the back and in between buses to get to mine, and it would just smoke you out. Just about to die. All that fume.
Yeah,
nasty.
I think I'm more excited for the big vehicles to become electric than the small ones.
Yeah.
I mean, as just someone walking around a city, the big vehicles make the most noise, pollute the most.
Yeah.
They
like
also tend to
buses.
struggle the most to accelerate. So electrifying them should give them more power. I know the Tesla Semi has more power than most semis.
Yeah, semis are always slow. I try to get around them at red lights if at all possible. The lane next to the semi, even 4 or 5 cars back, is still going to beat the semi. Every time. It's ridiculous.
Let's see if there's anything else good in this article they talk about. No, not really. That's the bulk of it. So there you go. I mean, you keep hearing from a lot of different places that were going to be that light duty vehicles such as cars, pickup trucks, SUVs will be full electric by 2035. Well, they're going to make all the school buses by 2035, and those are, I think, a lot harder to do.
Yeah.
So definitely, it's.
I wonder if our manufacturing plant that's going to come in South Charleston. I don't even know when the estimated date of that is, but I wonder if they're going to supply any of those.
I don't know. They don't
Pretty
cover
cool.
any of the suppliers. I don't even know. Other than them, I have no idea what other companies make electric school buses. I'm pretty sure they're all really small volume right now. Like, they're not mass producing these electric school buses.
No, not at all.
But yeah, you'll eventually one day.
You know who is mass producing vehicles? Tesla. They just opened their Texas Gigafactory with a interesting event with Elon Musk in a cowboy hat. It seems like all the billionaires like to act like they're Texans and cowboys. You got Jeff Bezos hopping off his Blue Origin ship with a cowboy hat. Elon rolls up in a roadster with his cowboy hat and aviators to a Tesla event. Pretty interesting. I also saw some footage where everyone's like standing, which I thought was interesting. It was just like big open. I guess they were in the Gigafactory.
Yeah.
It was just everybody was just in like standing around this area. It was kind of strange. No seats, but yeah, they called it Cyber Rodeo. They invited 15,000 people to listen to music, eat food, pay homage to Tesla.
They did this in this article says here. This article's on the Verge, by the way. The milestone, I guess, of building the factory and opening it was achieved less than 2 years after Elon declared that Austin would be the site of the company's next Gigafactory.
Yeah, that started during COVID.
So maybe they can build a factory faster than we can get our roads paved in West Virginia.
Yeah. Yeah, potholes have been there for years, but man, they built a whole Gigafactory in Austin, Texas. But yeah, Tesla spent an estimated $5 million purchasing the lands, and then $1.1 billion to build the plant.
And then also, they just recently opened its first European factory in Berlin, and that was like a few months ago too. That was not very long. Someone actually the other day asked me, "Oh, it was Terry." He was like, "Did Tesla open up do you know where they're at on the Texas Gigafactory?" I was like, "It's open. They've delivered cars."
Yeah.
So it's really quick. I mean, this is quick to a lot of people that know anything about, I guess, building factories or especially producing from the factories.
Man, if only they could utilize this increase in supply and lower the price, meet the demand.
No. Their profit margins keep going up. Actually, I think I just saw where Tesla made like $3 billion in profit last quarter.
Shoo.
Like profit for a car company during COVID.
It seems like COVID was the ticket for people to buy everything. Cars, houses.
Yeah, as of 3 days ago, there was an article on CNN. Tesla record profit blows away estimates.
That's insane.
Oh, let's see if there's any.
Elon's expecting a few trucks to be delivered by the end of 2021, but none were delivered or ever made. The Cybertruck is just, what a mess.
So that profit was they earned adjusted income of $3.7 billion, much higher than the $2.6 billion forecast by analysts. So they blew away their analyst expectations. And there is an interesting point in this article about Tesla's price increases. The Model 3 now costs $47,000, up 34% from 3 years ago. So
people are buying them up, though. Man, they're getting them more and more and more.
And the cheapest Model Y is like 50% more, but it's a better vehicle. But if you want to step foot in a Model Y, it's like 50% more than it used to be.
Wait,
step foot one.
Tell me that price of the Model 3 again. 47 what?
It's 46,990.
Oh, okay. I saw here that the Gigafactory is going to hire up to 5,000 people with an average salary of $47,147.
Oh.
You can make just over a Model 3 in a year.
I don't think if those people have to pay rent or buy a home and they're by themselves, I don't know if they're all going to be able to buy Model 3s.
I doubt it.
And Tesla,
it says starting entry positions are 35,000.
Ooh, Tesla doesn't give you discounts either on cars. They'll give you full self-driving for free if you're an employee, which is $12,000 if you actually bought it.
Yeah.
But you don't get discount on the car. Not a penny off.
Stupid.
You get free healthcare though, for the cheapest one. It's just kind of a random fun fact for you
That's
guys.
interesting.
All right, and then let's see what else do we have here to cover. Okay. So something else kind of interesting. I'm sure I doubt really hardly any of our listeners have heard about this company because I just learned about them like a week or two ago. So Vietnam's Vinfast is going to build a $2 billion electric vehicle factory in the United States. And it's going to be in North Carolina to make, let's see, electric buses and SUVs along with batteries.
Yep. Yeah, it's a $2 billion factory in North Carolina. So,
and it's expected to be done by July of 2024 with initial capacity of 150,000 units per year. And the reason they're, let's see, one of their spokespeople said, with the manufacturing facility right in the U.S. market, VinFast can stabilize prices and shorten product delivery times, making our EVs more accessible to customers. So
Cool.
they don't have to ship them. They
don't have to ship like 5, 6, 7,000 pound vehicles in a ship across the seas and spend all that money. Makes a lot of sense. They're going to create more than 7,000 jobs, though, according to President Biden.
And then also, I think that just kind of plays into the fact that General Motors, well, this article mentioned General Motors, Ford, and Siemens is all. I feel like all the time you hear about, oh, we're going to build a new factory and hire this many people and spend this many billions of dollars. I mean, it's just, it'll be exciting when it all gets done. And it's going to be done in the next 5 years.
That's the first car plant in North Carolina. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I guess it wouldn't be in West Virginia. We have Toyota.
Well, we don't even
fully manufacture cars, though.
We just do engines and transmissions.
Yeah.
I wish we did full cars. That would be very cool. Probably be a lot more jobs. I think the places that manufacture the full cars probably are a lot bigger.
It's a lot bigger of an assembly line. You need a lot more people to run it.
But I wonder, there could be I bet in a way, though, our Toyota plant might be more skilled labor, though. Could be.
Yeah, engine components versus like putting in a seat.
Yeah, just putting in a seat or steering column.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of exciting to hear about yet another investment into the U.S. market. But, I guess never get too excited until it's fully done. I remember a few years ago, what was that one company, that Chinese, Foxconn was supposed to build a big factory, I think in Wisconsin. Yeah. I don't know if you ever remember hearing about that. And it just never happened. Yeah, it was going to be really big and it just never happened. So this will happen if the market, the economy stays, stable and like it is now. But they can definitely halt plans or delay plans based on, how the economy goes. So
yeah, it can always change. But I like that EVs bringing a lot of jobs to the U.S. market is happening.
Yeah, I think these companies are finding that there's a lot of benefits to, even though we have higher labor costs and I guess some better workers' rights compared to, I guess, some Asian countries.
Yeah.
There are a lot of benefits, like shorter delivery times,
lower shipping costs. Lower tariffs, if there are none, if you're shipping domestically.
Yeah.
I thought that makes sense, though, for companies to build products domestically. Like, so you build your product there for that market instead of shipping them. Like, it makes a lot of sense, especially for something that big.
Yeah.
I know, like, textiles and other industries, a lot of things are made in China that are shipped, but they're not very expensive or anything like that, or heavy. But vehicles, that's a lot to ship in bulk overseas. And a lot of loss if one of those ships goes down. That happens occasionally.
I do wonder when we're going to start getting more Chinese cars to the United States.
We don't even have a lot of the European companies, Pugo and...
Yeah, but you got to think, Europe pays just as much as the U.S. for labor and tax. Those companies, they're not going to save money by moving here and selling cars. Like, it's going to be about the same. They're probably not going to sell terribly well, but like in China, they can make them really cheap.
Yeah, that's true.
And then they can sell them over here for big fat profit margins. So,
speaking of Europe, in Norway, they're still breaking records with EVs. All the people like their EVs, and the one that takes the cake, Tesla Model Y. They also like their SUVs, like everybody else. Gotta have an SUV. Gotta have an SUV. Can't have nothing else. SUV. 82% of the vehicles sold last quarter were battery electric.
New vehicles. Yep, 82% of new vehicles.
Oh yeah, that's a little helpful hint there.
We don't have used car statistics here.
They've been the leading market per capita.
Yep. So 64.5% of all cars sold in Norway in 2021 were all electric, up 10 points from the previous year. And now they're doing 82% in the previous
So they were still on over half in 2020.
Yeah.
That's
so
crazy.
Norway's goal is for each new car on the road to be all electric by 2025. And this article by Electric says they're on pace to achieve that early. So it is definitely possible. And then if you guys are wondering how many cars they sold, they sold 27,000 electric cars, or 26,800 in the last quarter. And they sold 32,342 cars overall. So they're not just selling like 300 cars a quarter. They're still selling. That's still pretty good volume.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. I think that's really cool.
And then, yeah, number 1 was Model Y. Number 2 was Model 3. Number 3 was Volkswagen ID4. And then Audi e-tron. And then it's like less than 4% after that. So Tesla has like 30% market share, which is actually kind of low because here they have like 70% market share.
Yeah, they sold 3 hydrogen vehicles that quarter too.
Wow. I wonder where they get their hydrogen at over there. I bet there's such big demand. They're probably building new pumps every day.
Yeah, I really thought hydrogen would take off. It still might. If for some reason battery materials become super scarce, they might rely on hydrogen.
Cars, well, hydrogen's really expensive. I don't know why, but they charge you a fortune for it.
It's very abundant.
It's like in California, they were spending like $90 to fill up a Toyota Mirai.
Sheesh.
If you leased one, they give you a $15,000 fuel card. And that was like probably enough to cover lease miles. So that would be like, well, you could only lease one. So most leases are like 10 to 12,000 miles a year.
Yeah.
15 grand. And then it still takes 5 minutes. And I was watching one video on YouTube. They struggle with the,
like
not the
pump, nozzle?
The nozzle like freezing up, where they have to take breaks. Like if it's in constant use, it's going to freeze up or act up. So
I guess high pressure gas.
Yeah, I guess they could work that out. But yeah, hydrogen definitely is not. It didn't take off. Maybe you can blame Tesla for that.
Maybe Toyota's still in the game though. Whenever they announced all these EVs, they were like, "Well, we're not fully dedicated to EVs. We think hydrogen's good too." Because they're the ones that made the Mirai, and they're like, "That's low emission. That's alternative energy. They're efficient." I think they're going to invest a little bit in the hydrogen. It'd be cool.
Yeah,
but it would definitely it'll end up being something like the early stages of EVs, where there's like a handful out there. It's gonna be like a handful of hydrogen.
You never
around
know.
all these other cars.
Maybe in 100 years, hydrogen will take over.
They've exhausted all of the lithium and everything else.
Could really, because there were electric cars in the early 1900s.
Yeah,
you can look it up. There were a few electric cars in the early 1900s. New York City. I know Jay Leno's garage. He has one of the original like electric vehicles in New York.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot the name of it, but they even had charging stations throughout the city. But gasoline cars won out.
Yep.
That's
now
true.
It's the opposite.
So you never know. You never know.
Yeah. Imagine if EVs were this thing from the start. Do you think people would switch to gas despite the
game? No. I think if EVs took off in 1916, I think, that's unimaginable how great our EVs would be now. I mean, thousands of miles of range and super efficient. Also, if we design cars for efficiency instead of looks, I know we can't do that 100%, but if we focus more on efficiency, cars would be so much more efficient.
Oh, yeah.
Like, look at that Aptera, and a lot of people are going to think it's ugly, but, like, that car is designed for efficiency. But that Mercedes is also designed for efficiency, and it looks nice. So there is a happy medium, and it's definitely not where we're at now. Like, they can do a lot better.
I think a happy medium is Mercedes EQS and EQE.
Lucid Air is more efficient than
Lucid
EQS,
Air.
And that looks just fine. That looks really nice.
Yeah.
It looks better than most inefficient cars.
Have to have low laying everything. It just has to be pretty much smooth. Just like one constant roundness almost.
Well, there's a lot of tricks you can do. Like the Lucid Air is more efficient than a Nissan Leaf, and a Nissan Leaf, especially the old one, is ugly.
Oh, yeah.
So, and it's more efficient. So I mean,
Yep, they made it work.
if you try really hard and you focus on efficiency, and specifically what do they call it, drag coefficient of drag,
Yep,
getting that number down, then it actually does wonders for your range. For sure.
Yeah, because I mean, you don't have to push as hard.
Because, for example, and then we'll move on after this, but for example, the Lucid Air has like 118 kilowatt hour battery pack, right? And for our viewers, kilowatt hours is like how you measure the capacity of a battery, how big a battery is. The Hummer EV has like a 200 kilowatt hour battery.
Yeah.
But it's designed to be horribly inefficient. I mean, not only is it big, but it's also not very round. You know, it's very like boxy.
Bulky, yeah.
So it goes, I think it goes like 320 or 350 on a full charge. The Lucid Air goes 520, and the battery is nearly half the size.
Yep, that's called efficiency, ladies and gentlemen.
And the Lucid Air is large on the inside. It's a large sedan.
Yeah, I heard you talking about that at the event the other day.
It's bigger than the inside of a RAV4 or a Mazda 6 or even a Chevrolet Impala. Or I'm trying to think what other people might drive in there. It's bigger than a lot of truck cabins.
Oh, yeah.
Because, I mean, the back seat is enormous. It's like Mercedes S-Class size.
Yep.
Like, you have tons and tons of space. And it's super efficient and looks super nice. So definitely look that up too. Lucid Air, if you guys haven't heard of them.
Oh, this is pretty cool. This one's a bit more recent. This just happened yesterday. In the UK, according to The Verge, watching TV from behind the wheel of a self-driving car is going to be allowed under UK law.
But there are no vehicles yet that can do that.
Yeah, you can't do it yet. But when that happens, you can watch Netflix and let the car take you. That is the dream for a lot of people. Don't have to do anything. You just let it go. I think that's pretty interesting that they're jumping the gun this early and allowing that to happen.
Well, they basically just allow, they write the regulations to allow it when it can happen. So in the U.S., we still don't allow cameras for side mirrors. But Europe's allowed it for years. And it has tons and tons of benefits, like wider field of view, smaller, less likely to knock it off or someone to hit it. We still don't allow it.
Yeah.
Because, 10 years ago, who knows when Europe adopted that to allow it. They probably allowed it when like one car was doing it. And we wait and wait and wait. So this is kind of getting ahead of because government is slow to move sometimes.
Definitely. So
you go ahead and you allow it before it really happens. Like we should do this too. We should allow you to watch TV. Now this is only on the screen. So like on a Tesla, you could only watch TV on that screen, and that screen has to have the ability to also tell you to take over. So this wouldn't be you're watching a movie on your phone, on your laptop.
It's built-in infotainment.
Built-in infotainment. Now Mercedes has a full self-driving feature now in the EQS, and I think also the regular S-Class, where in Germany it's allowed as level 3 autonomy. So they have levels 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And most everything on the roads only goes up to a 2 right now. But in Germany, they have a level 3 system up to 37 miles an hour. And you can do whatever you want. You don't have to pay any attention at all. You be on your phone, you read a book. But, if it alerts you to take over, you've got to take over.
Yeah, see down here at the bottom of the article as well, their highway code is being updated to clarify the difference between self-driving and driving assistance.
Yeah.
So you have to have the car to completely drive itself. They're also, this is interesting to me, going to offer more details on rules that still apply when you're behind the wheel of a self-driving car, such as not being drunk, being within legal limit of intoxication. So I guess in the event that the car fails, you do have the capability of taking over. So I guess they're still not going to allow you to be stupid drunk and have the car drive you home.
Not yet. But there will be a time, I believe level 5 is full self-driving, all situations. You never have to take over.
Yeah.
So once we hit that, which we will eventually, you should be able to ride home in your car. Well, I was going to say drive home in your car drunk, but you're not driving. You're going to be riding in your car.
The car is your DD.
Yeah.
You hop in and it takes you.
I mean, really, cars are eventually going to get to the point with level 5 autonomy where there's not going to be a steering wheel. Like you're going to be able to buy cars without steering wheels because they're not going to design them to be driven. They're not going to be fun to drive if you could.
Yeah.
They're going to be designed like a living room, like a small little living room or little room. They're not going to be these 4 seats set up like this, facing the front. Like there's already a lot of concepts with cars without steering wheels. and
I
that's
guess
what
they
it'll be one day.
still, it's a kind of a tricky subject though, because they have to not only make it comfortable and maybe change the design, but they also have to make it safe. So
Yeah.
the positioning of the seats has to be in such a way that if a car fails or something happens spontaneous, if there's a collision to any side of the vehicle, that
Lots
nobody's
and
at
lots of
more and more
airbags.
risk. Just blow up.
But yeah, that is something to look into for our viewers. The little different levels of autonomous driving.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So level 0 is like absolutely nothing. So it's like, I don't know, like my grandma's Malibu doesn't even have a backup camera. That would be levels. I mean, it doesn't have any emergency braking
That
or
is
adaptive cruise
0.
control or lane keep. Like you're just gonna run people over and not even know it.
Yep, that is considered 0
So
in my book.
yep, it is. I'm not sure about level 1, but level 2 is like adaptive cruise. Oh no, level 2 would be like it'd be super cruise.
Like HDA or Super Cruise.
Yeah. I guess level.
Or would HDA be level 1? Would Super Cruise not be a level 3? Hands-free driving?
No, there are no level 3s in the United States.
I mean,
So it's level
if
2.
Super Cruise was in Germany,
No,
level 3?
Because Super Cruise makes you keep your eyes on the road. That system in Germany, you don't have to keep your eyes on the road.
So what is a level 5 then? Is it
Well,
just
I
because
mentioned
it's faulty?
Huh?
You could have to take over. Is that what makes it level 3? Though you don't have to pay attention.
Hold on, let me give you guys a quick rundown here. And
See, I've never looked
we
into
should
this
actually
either.
probably do an episode on this one day. Different. There's actually a term for it.
Yeah, because I've never looked into it actually.
There's a nice little chart all over there. Different levels that would work. This one. The S. I don't know what SAE stands for, but the SAE is the one who wrote this. Here, I'll send it to you, Zane.
The who now?
I don't know. I'm going to tell you guys in just 1 second. Zane. Here, we'll go through this kind of just to sum it up.
Okay, deal.
Or you can look up what SAE means if you want. I don't know why they don't tell us.
SAE
But anyways, they
International.
have different levels. Level 0, level 1, level 2. Those are kind of grouped together. Well, they're grouped as driver support features. Level 3, 4, 5 are grouped as automated driving features. Let's see here. Oh, actually,
six
level
levels.
0 can actually have some stuff, apparently. So level 0 can have automatic emergency braking, blind spot warning, lane departure warning. Wait a minute. That's what my car has. My car's level 0. Well, I think there should be a level -1 then. But level 0, 1, and 2, you must constantly supervise the car, and you're driving whenever these driver support features are engaged, even if your feet are off the pedals and you're not steering. And then level 1 would also have to include lane centering or adaptive cruise control. Wait a minute, these features. Okay, and then level 2 would be lane centering and adaptive cruise control. So your car's level 2.
Yeah.
No,
boy.
you don't have lane centering. I think you have.
That's lane keep assist.
Yeah. So super cruise
Or HDA. That's lane
or
center.
HDA.
Highway driving assist for those that don't know what HDA is.
And then level 3, 4, and 5. You guys should just look this chart up. We'll cover it in another episode, but
Yeah, we can go more in
there's a
depth into
bunch
that
of
for
different things that
we
you
can get
need or
some
don't need.
examples of cars that are in each level and stuff to look for. Yeah, we can definitely do that.
But level 5 specifically, automated driving features that can drive the car under all conditions. So that should even mean ice storms. I mean, if you can drive the car, it can drive the car. I mean, I guess you can still wreck, right, if you hit a patch of ice, but like
I could wreck.
it's not going to say, "Oh, bad weather, you got to take over." I mean, it will drive everywhere.
Pretty cool.
So
it's not a fair weather driving system. All right, so oops, I dropped my phone. The last article that we have here for today is about costs of superchargers. This is by electric.co. It says Tesla's supercharger cost revealed to be just 1/5 of the competition. So basically, people other than Tesla that want to put in electric chargers are charging a lot of money. Tesla is only charging a fifth of what they're charging. That's
Well,
ridiculous.
There was an indirect way how Tesla doesn't like to come out and give those numbers, but in Texas, the Texas Volkswagen Environmental Mitigation Program, which uses money from Dieselgate to fund projects, opened up basically a round of grant money. And then to do that, let's see, you could not apply for more than 70% of the cost of the chargers, up to $150,000 per charger. So you could ask for $150,000 as the max, but it could also not be more than 70% of the total cost. So Tesla was only asking for $30,000 per charger, while almost everyone else is asking for the full $150,000. So if you do the math, like Electric did in this article, that means that the Tesla Superchargers shouldn't cost any more than $43,000 per charger, while everyone else wants $200,000.
Crazy.
So, which still seems really high. I know $43,000 seems like a lot, but remember earlier in the podcast we mentioned the chargers we saw at Marshall, which were 50 kW, 50 kilowatts, were $50,000 a piece.
Yeah.
These Tesla Superchargers are $43,000. They're $7,000 cheaper, and they're 5 times faster. They're 250 kilowatt stations.
250. Sheesh.
So Tesla definitely has. Well, I guess the reason why is they're probably just selling these at cost. They're not trying to profit off. They can't profit off Superchargers because they're the ones who pay for them. So this is what it actually costs them to make.
And then all these other companies are like, "Bring me my Dieselgate money."
Yeah.
Volkswagen, pay up.
So what you'll see then, most likely, whenever they do the 4 plugs every 50 miles for the infrastructure money, just think each station, $800,000 to $1 million.
Oh my gosh!
Per station.
They're gonna eat it up faster than they can do anything with it.
So that means West Virginia will get, I'll just say we'll get about 40 stations.
Yeah, I was hoping they'd get $200,000 chargers.
No, we'll probably get about 40 stations. And let's lower our expectations more. I'd say more like 30. And then Tesla already has 11 stations in the state.
Yeah. And
they built all that without any federal money.
Crazy.
So imagine Tesla if they could get federal money.
Well, they had federal money. That was their whole creation.
Well, yeah.
They lived off federal money.
I don't think they get federal money for chargers anymore, though, and they're still building them out.
Well, yeah, it just makes sense. If you want your product to succeed, you got to support it. Make more chargers, sell more Teslas. Easy peasy. It's a really good linear chart. More charger, more Tesla. There you go. Yeah. That's it.
So, yeah, well, that's about all we have for you guys today. And sorry about the big 1 month gap, but we covered a lot of the articles that we missed over the last month.
Yeah, some of it's a little bit older, but
it's all super relevant still.
It's still not come to pass. So, yeah, it makes a lot of relevant news still matter. That did not make any sense. Anyways, that's all we got this week. Hopefully, as long as we are still on track, we should get one. Will we get one next week?
Well, I get it's gonna be delayed because we don't have time to record a filler episode. So probably look out for another episode. I would say by not this coming up Monday, but the following Monday, roughly.
It'll be in May, early May.
Yeah,
look for it then.
But hopefully we're gonna be on more of a set schedule, and we'll try to do more than just the news. That's, I think, our main goal. But don't forget, we're on the podcast app now, and if you enjoy the podcast, make sure to please leave a review. And we're also still on YouTube, so you can always like and comment there. And then if you guys would like us to cover any specific topics, definitely mention those. If you have any good topic ideas, I think we've only got maybe a couple lined up I can think of right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it wouldn't hurt. And those episodes we'll eventually get to, and they won't be quite an hour, but maybe about half hour.
Depending on what it is, we might be able to find a bunch of stuff or ramble forever. You never know.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys on the next episode.
See you later. Thank you.